Hey everyone. Okay, so yeah, if this episode served to prove anything, it's just how much the Pacifista project has been perfected with the development of the Seraphim. Like the whole first chunk of this episode was dedicated to Lucci, Luffy, Kaku, and Zoro just unloading on them, and despite that, the Seraphim got back up, dusted themselves off like they hadn't even taken any damage, which if what Shaka said can be believed, that's not far off, as he confirmed that yes, King, aka Albert, was the test subject used in order to help with the development of the Seraphim, essentially making the Seraphim like perfect, indestructible or nigh indestructible like pacifistas. Um, but with that said, I also like how Zoro's experience having fought King did actually come back into play with this fight in telling them that the thing that causes the indestructibility is the flame on their backs. So it's a nice instance of getting to see Zoro's quick thinking and ingenuity at play. Something that I have to admit there have been moments of pause for me covering this series where it does feel like Oda does play up Zoro being a dumbass enough times to where it sometimes overshadows his clever moments. And again, but it is nice to see Zoro take. Is nice to see Zoro actually take from his experiences in this moment. With that said, yeah, obviously the other thing we got to talk about is that ending where after reuniting with Stella, aka Vegapunk, Shaka more or less gets shot and killed by an unknown assailant. And again, the anime, despite being more faithful in its adaptation, did give a more clear, more early, give a lot more early clues as to who the assailant is compared to the manga, in the form of like a lot of blink and you'll miss it silhouette moments in an episode or two. But but just from the little preview I saw, yeah, the villain itself is still gonna be just as terrifying and even a little bit creepy. Although I and yeah, if any, for those who know, you know who it is at this point. But with that said, I do gotta say this is also one of those episodes that does make me kind of realize that whether in anime or manga format, how much One Piece is kind of a binge type series in certain respects. Because if memory serves me correctly, the next episode is going to be exactly like this one, where it's going to be built up, where a lot of the episode is going to be built up, followed by a what the fuck kind of ending. And it is episodes like this where, while I recognize that a lot of important setup happened in this episode, I can still feel a little. It can still feel a little sluggish when viewed on their own. Although, I do also believe, if memory serves, the next episode is also going to be the last one that will take place on Egghead for a while. After that, we're going to be switching up gears elsewhere until we switch back. But even then, it's going to be one of those things where when we switch over to what else is going on in the world, kind of thing, it's all going to serve as build up in order to get to what I consider to be where the moment in this arc where shit really starts hitting the fan and all hell breaks loose. Again, I know I've been building this up for a long ass time, but everything beyond this point is gonna serve as building blocks to kind of get to that hell breaking loose moment in the series. And yeah, aside from that, there's not much else to talk about. Although, I will say this definitely is an episode that gave me. The only way I can describe them is Vietnam flashbacks. Because the interesting thing about this episode to me is I had forgotten just how much Oda focused on the Seraphims fighting. Just how much Oda had focused on the Seraphims fighting the Straw Hats in the manga, and revisiting all this content through the anime is one of those things where it makes sense, where it's a very weird thing for me, where having a lot of these moments of the Straw Hats fighting the Seraphim, it does do well in establishing the power of the Seraphim, but damn, or they, but damn, am I also remembering how much they were also the least interesting parts of the Egghead arc, and like honestly, this and it's one of those things where I always think like for me the Egghead arc was always at its best when it was when it was focusing on just like exploring Vegapunk's history, and when it was focused on like the mystery and mystique of who the traitor is. And I know that the Seraphims in themselves are kind of meant to serve as part of that reveal, but in terms of the actual pacing, the actual buildup of it, they are the part that feels the slowest to working towards that reveal, and because of that, they are kind of the part where I often check out, and it's kind of the same deal here as well. Aside from occasions where I feel we get significant character spotlight, like with Zoro, this is an episode. A lot of these like Seraphim focused episodes are episodes where I have kind of checked the fuck out. Like I really don't want to be that guy, but it is kind of an unfortunate reality with me when it comes to a lot of this. Like and it's unfortunate because a lot of setup does also happen with this arc. So it's like, yeah, I'm fighting with I'm fighting with myself a lot on this episode because I still really like it, but the Seraphim episodes, those are the ones where I'm kind in a way where the Seraphim parts of the episode are like where I'm kind of like on my phone, I'm just checking emails, that kind of thing. Like, and isn't again, I don't want to be that guy, but it is kind of that situation with me. But anyway, guys. That's all I got for this review. If you enjoyed the video, like, comment, subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, Analyze Crunchyroll, push the notification bell, hit the subscribe button, and just share the video around, guys. Dark Knight Vimy, signing off. Later, everyone.